Jess Wright. I'm the Director of Talent Management for Duravant. Duravant's a global parent company. We own 17 manufacturing companies globally in food packaging, food processing, and material handling equipment. One of our biggest is in Wooddale, Illinois, actually where I'm sitting right now. So we opened this location about 2.5 years ago, and are very excited to be in this region. And other than that, I am the co-chair of the BEC, IWIB board member, professional development committee member, and I will let Kara introduce herself.
Hello, everyone. I'm Kara Demerjen-Huss, and really excited to be here today. President of DCC Marketing. We are a full-service women business entity agency that supports many state agencies like the Illinois Department of Transportation, Illinois Department of Human Services, LIHEAP through the Department of Commerce, as well as many of our educational institutions and private companies, both in the energy and manufacturing space. I'm also our Senior Vice President of TCCI Manufacturing, a global leader in compressor technology. We make air conditioning compressors for both ICE vehicles as well as electric vehicles, Class 3 to Class 8. And we're the first recipient of the Reimagine Electric Vehicle Incentive Program back in 2022, and are working to develop an EV innovation hub here in Illinois to bring U.S. manufacturing back, advance technology and research, and will be one of the first that we know of in the United States that will have the community college embedded inside of our facility with 3 classrooms and immersive hands-on learning. So just really excited about the work here as part of the business engagement co-chair with Jess. I'm also an IWIB board member, was appointed last May. I'm also a member of the apprenticeship committee, and I'm vice president of our Illinois Manufacturers Association.
Next slide, Amy. Thank you. We'll go to the next one. All right, so the Business Engagement Committee, the charge of the BEC is really to provide guidance and direction. The goal is to bridge the gap between our business and employers and the Illinois workforce development system. So really trying to understand the pulse of the industry and what employers' needs are, what they're looking for, what their struggles are. One of the unique things about the BEC committee is we have the largest representation of professional employers out of the committees that are active right now. So it is incredibly important for the BEC to have a voice of the industry so that we're consistently up to date on what's happening, what the needs are. We know that workforce and workforce development has been a consistent struggle in industrial markets for as long as I can remember. And so it's really important to us that we have that voice and the representation to ensure that, you know, we're setting the right direction across the system and that we're able to provide support in the areas that employers and businesses are directly speaking to. Next slide.
And as Jess is talking about, you know, really, again, the Business Engagement Committee, we think about the importance of fostering positive relationships with our industry across the state and from corner to corner, really addressing the challenges and identifying opportunities for shared success so that ultimately we can work toward the advancement of prosperity for all of our industry and local communities. That starts with improving data and information regarding business engagement. So we're working really hard with our committee members and across also with other committees like the apprenticeship committee to ensure that we are getting consistent and accurate data and information from our business and industry. We are working to gather that both through surveys and focus groups, as well as one-on-one community engagement efforts. It's also communication and collaboration is a key part of this as we're talking about this and building a communication strategy so that we can really promote the economic growth and the development for a mutually beneficial partnership across Illinois. That entails really supporting the development of the regional industry and these sector partnerships like we talked about. So really better understanding, and again, this data of what are the challenges and the opportunities for us as we think about this going forward and our visioning strategy. Also identifying and employing effective methods of communication. So our committee is very dedicated to working on developing a full communication plan to ensure that there's awareness across our employers, with our agencies and our stakeholders as well. And that part of that is also making sure we're developing compelling messages and really that we understand the issues and the opportunities that are out there, so that we are speaking authentically and relevantly to our employers about their needs, as well as about the state resources that are available to them. Next slide.
So in the workforce development system, we try to think about how the BEC really fits. And we look at the BEC as really a resource that keeps the pulse on the state, industry policies, programs, and needs, and really aims to further partnerships. As Kara had mentioned, one of the biggest priorities for us is obtaining data to be able to set appropriate actions. One of the biggest conversations that we have at the BEC is, what is business engagement? What does that mean? Is an engaged employer just one that reaches out, or is an engaged employer one that uses services? So we're really working through clarity, can ensure that those next steps, when we set that messaging, it's appropriate to align with engagement. So we're really working to build partnerships, leaning on the committee members who are the voice of the industry, and ensuring that those needs are met across the state. Additionally, one of the big goals, as Kara had mentioned, is as we talk about developing messaging, it's spreading awareness of the programs that employers can participate in. We know one of the biggest challenges is most employers they don't know what they don't know. They're not aware of how many programs and how many things that they can actually participate in. So when we think about engagement, that's really what we're trying to take to the next level. Is if a business reaches out, how do we ensure that they're not only reaching out, but then actively engaged in a program, or getting that support from recruitment to training? And if they're not reaching out, how are we getting to them? When I actually got involved in the state a couple of years ago because of this, I had no idea what resources were out there, what programs were out there. We needed a ton of people and couldn't find them. And so we went to the state for some support in hiring. And I was kind of blown away at how much there really was for employers to take part in. So that's a big piece of how the BEC fits into the system, is ensuring that the industry knows what's happening in the workforce system. So we think about, what is an engaged business and how do we engage them? We can go next slide. And that was it. So we are trying to be quick and efficient with a quick overview of the BEC and what we're working on. If there's any questions, we'd be happy to answer.